time, your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is January 24, 2013. Hope you had an amazing day. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We are joined tonight by our special guest, St. Toby One Kenobi. Oh, man, stop picking on him, Christie. No, wait, shut up. You stop. Oh, Tobias Lars. Okay, soulcounseling.com is the website, and we are going to be talking about, trusting our triggers on our spiritual awakening. What is our electromagnetic blueprint? Your irritation, anger, hurt, pain, is that a check engine light? How do we turn our triggered reactions into useful actions, and changing your electromagnetic blueprint? If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call tonight at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And if you'd like to join our happy family in the text chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. Just click on listen and chat up there in the top middle. But it is so good to have you here. Everybody always looks forward to Thursdays. So how the heck are you doing tonight, Tobias?
Really? People look forward to Thursday?
Oh, well, one or two of us. Like my dog.
My dog.
Yeah, there's a crow outside, just sitting by the window. A couple of us do.
Nobody wants to learn how to heal themselves. We want gossip. We want spiritual gossip. We want to hear about the Saturnian cult. We want to hear about the Illuminati. We want to hear about all this secret shenanigans the Vatican does. We want to hear all about this, all that kind of spiritual gossip. We want to hear about all kinds of mental, spiritual stuff, but we don't actually want to do the stuff that can actually help us. Nobody wants that.
No, healing yourself is boring.
We want the galactic TMZ. That's what we want.
I saw there was this reptilian screwing a Pleiadian.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
The Draconians and the evil Aphrodite and all those races that came here. The reptoids, the tall whites, the underground, the Neanderthal ones that were actually beasts that ate the Cro-Magnon people. We want to know all that stuff. That's what we really want. That's what's fun. We want to be able to sit home and eat our spiritual Cheetos and listen to that stuff. I know. I'm making fun. But, I hesitate to do shows that are actually about, oh, no, I don't want to actually have to feel my feelings. The funny thing is we think it's such a deep program that somehow it's a bunch of work or painful to awaken. And that's why we have the culture that we have now. And that's why we have. That's why we have TMZ. That's why we have Hillary Clinton testifying on the Hill. That's why we are repeating the same old pattern over and over again. Because we've got some deep program about, it's like we're uncomfortable with our own power. We don't want to let go into, I was sitting here the other night with somebody, and I saw a spirit to their right. I see spirits, I'm not crazy though, believe it or not, but I actually do.
That's a crazy person.
Uh-huh.
Actually, that reminds me, I got the best compliment yesterday. I was told that I'm so crazy and so weird that I was the first person that, one of my friends who's been, effectively shut off for 45 years of his emotions, that I was the first person he's ever been able to talk to and trust and share things with me because he was certain that I was crazier than he was.
Nice.
Isn't that great?
I love those backhanded or front faced
No, he was serious. He was in tears.
No,
and he really meant it as a compliment.
I'm confused.
Okay.
See,
Yeah, Tobias isn't crazy.
Where I come from, I was just remembering today, I go, wow, I actually came into this lifetime thinking that, oh, yeah, you're actually honest with each other. You don't hide stuff. You're actually kind of direct. You're not oblique. You don't work around in circles. You don't manipulate from behind the scenes. You don't actually orchestrate. You're not, trying to calculate and be conniving or, being socially appropriate like Miss Manners. That's not, I don't mean conniving. I didn't really mean that. I actually thought we could be straightforward on this planet. And I realized, holy cow, the programming is so deep that we just don't trust that become ye as little children and innocence will save the day. But, every teacher says it. Jesus is the most publicized teacher. He's got the unenviable job of being the guy that's plastered across the whole Western world on every church corner. Where he actually said, they forgot to take that out of the edited texts, that he says, unless you become open-hearted and forthright and honest and without guile and without cheating and conniving, i.e., unless you become like little children, you will not, wow, that's pretty clear, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Wow. So, we still try the let's connive our way into heaven. What? Yeah. What? Let me TMZ my way in. Let me start a Joan Rivers talk show and neg on people on what they're wearing at the Oscars, and I'll go to heaven. It's insane, But that's such a deep what we want. That's what sells. TMZ sells. Even in the spiritual or waking up community, David Icke is up there sweating his. He's got arthritis through his body. He's trying to yell at people at Wembley Arena, wake the F up now! And people are like, can you pass the spiritual Cheetos, please? I want some more Cheetos, right? And please, David, I just want to hear about how evil the Illuminati. I know David had to add, a portion to his talk, his day-long talk. I went to it once. And where he actually talks about, you're infinite consciousness. You have to wake up. You have to wake up. But he still spends the 80% of the whole talk about the evil Illuminati, the reptilians, the bankers, the food mongers, the da-da-da-da. All that's true, but that's what's fascinating to us because we are deathly afraid. You heard me say it. We're in avoidance. We are doing a void dance, the void of your heart. The void of my birth. There's a song by Monster Magnet. I know those guys are kind of rough for some people, but they used to open for Marilyn Manson. They have a song in there, and he's actually he's looking into some of his other lifetimes where he's talking about the void of my birth, the void of your soul origin. We're terrified of that because we're terrified of our own powers.
Definitely.
I want a box. Our chief preoccupation is to what color to paint our boxes. Therefore, it gives rise to 20 stupid shows on TV about how to decorate your boxes.
I'm going to leave that one. Yes.
Right?
I agree.
How to decorate your prisons.
Yes, those boxes.
What?
I'm sorry. It's one of those days. Look, we got Dan in the chat. Dan with the Holywood magic wand. Yeah, so.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
There's a waxing place on every corner.
Definitely. Oh, my gosh.
I'm making some fun and play here, but we have this thing about, I want to go to a conference and sit and receive information for my mind. Even David Wilcock, who I love, he doesn't really do personal work with people, but he gives information, and basically you got to deal with your own stuff. But it's like we know it's all rotten in Denmark. We know what's to do, which is to activate, speed up, clear, clean, heal, fix, elevate, ascend, our own energies. Because the only place that real awakening happens is within us, our personal selves. You can't go to heaven by exposing the reptilians. You can't reawaken your ascension body. You can expose all the, quote, truth, galactic truth. How about this? We start the Galactic Truth Channel. We will tell all the truth, nothing but the truth, all the time to the whole galaxy. You know what? That's still the booby prize.
That's definitely.
The Alex Jones of the whole galaxy. Come on. It's not going to help much. It's like 3%, 5%, okay, 7, 8%. All right, how about that? 8% of the game is the actual information. In other words, yes, the Federal Reserve. Yes, the creature from Jekyll Island. Yes, ETs. Yes, cancer, Raymond Rife. Yes, the Gershon method. It's all a lie. We know that. It's all made up. The prison, we're all in prison. Prison planet, yeah, right on. But that doesn't solve the problem. That just makes you realize what the problem really is. And unless you're solving it, meaning Jesus knows more than all that, Krishna knows more than all that, all the masters, they can see even more how, hey, there's some deep, dark, astral soul prisons going on that we haven't even touched on yet, okay? Yeah. That are like eternal prisons. They feel like eternities. Why? Because there is no time in those places. But all that information is just mental information. It's kind of like, and we're still doing that. We're doing the internet. We're doing the give me more information. But I've found myself lately, it's interesting, but I'm kind of bored. I mean, Coast to Coast AM, huge, right? What do they have, 800 stations at one point? They're losing stations now.
Oh, no. Wow.
And it's collapsing some because we've had enough information. How many times do you need to hear Richard Hoagland talk about the monuments on Mars?
Yeah, for reals. I know. And everybody thinks they know the one truth about it. And, yeah.
So, it's all good. See, pioneers, God bless. All of that is wonderful. But at a certain point, we have to get out of the mind and into the body and into the heart and into the whole being, the full spectrum human. You can't just survive in the mind. You can't just survive on information, or you turn into the little gray guys that are here, that Whitley Strieber talks about, that we've all talked about, Krasden, Roswell, all that stuff, the little gray Zeta Reticuli. God showed me this 20 years ago. I said, who are these little creepy dudes? Because they're starting to appear at my window, and I don't like it. I don't feel good.
They think you're cute.
No, I don't. And we have authority over it, and they are an aspect of ourselves. I was told 20 years ago that are about 1 billion years in the future go to a dead end in the Zeta Reticuli star system. They've genetically evolved themselves into cloning, and they don't have sex and emotion so much, and now they've reached a genetic dead end, and now they're coming back through time. They're us, abducting themselves, meaning their own soul, in this timeline, so then they borrow some genetic material, i.e. sperm, so they can create some hybrids. Yes, that's all true. But I don't want to go on that billion-year dead-end journey. I don't want to end up like an ant person.
Yeah.
That's not for me. I'm not saying it's not right. But the glory of the human being, as Shakespeare described it, as a god in action, involves the full spectrum. So I'm joking about this, but where's that tendency of we have to shift it into what do I want? I'm starting my seminars now lately with God has been showing me, or my spirit wants to. See, I don't have to say it, God. It's what I want to do. At a certain point, you have to get more and more like Jesus eventually did, because he said, what I can do, you can do too. Meaning, I and my Father are one. As you wish, so God wishes. As you wish, your true soul now, not your fallen, not your ego, not your fearful, trapped little demonic self, but your true God self. What it wants is exactly, of course, what God wants, because it is the same thing.
Yeah.
Sounding like Bashar at the moment. Do you want me to beat people up? People like that. People like Sadom. People like to beat up. They like to go to the gym and have, hey, I'm Tony. I'm going to work you out. Do you want a spiritual workout? Yeah, Bashar will bash your head in and just yell at you and give you information. But that works for people. I'm not picking on that either. It's great stuff. I think what Darryl Anka does with Beth is pretty good info, but it's just information.
Mm-hmm.
Information. Information is not healing. Information is not healing. Changing, transmuting, alchemizing your energy, that's healing, that's evolvement, that's ascension. That means you can open the portals. You will not open the portals between dimensions by just knowing about it. Stargate technology is still means end up bad. The Nazi Stargate stuff, not a good idea. The Montauk Project, not a good idea because you're going to open portals to things you don't know how to handle.
Yeah.
The experiment, that was a good one. Let's just send a ship off into time space somewhere. We have no clue when it's going to reappear. When it does, 300 guys are going to be frozen in and out of the deck of the USS Eldridge. And, yeah, that very nicely controlled experiment. Let's just set off magnetic vortex fields and just see what happens. Like bringing a bomb in your house and setting it off and see what happens. Idiocy. The heart's not present. So, anyway,
Tobias, you're cutting out here as we go to break, so I'm sorry we're not able to hear you, so hold on to that thought, please. We will be back after these few short minutes. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks again for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars. He is a personal awakening coach and the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. Or it's on Amazon, too, but be careful if you write a review. They censor words, so censor yourself if you want to be heard, I guess. Soulcounseling.com is the website, or courseofawakening.com. And Tobias,
that's my
I'm going to put you on Front Street here.
Uh-oh.
You did a classic example of diversion. And not to say, you were totally right on. I agree and enjoy everything you said. But the question was, speaking of heart presence and emotions and feelings and everything you just discussed, you avoided the question about how are you doing today? Let's change the subject. Let's talk about Greys and reptilians.
I love it. So, I love it. I'm feeling that. And I want to share, there's a certain thing that happens in our evolution where in a way you don't care as much about how you are doing as a personage. Because like a friend of mine talked about this recently. He said, are you happy? Like that question doesn't make sense in her. Happiness has nothing to do with it anymore. It's like the old pattern like I'm making fun of, that we're obsessed with sort of ego satisfaction, whether that is... By the way, you noticed how I made fun of and named names? I know that's spiritually incorrect. And all those people I mentioned, David Icke, Bashar, or whatever, it's all good stuff. But it's only a small portion of the awakening. So, yes, I don't really care how I'm doing.
We care. Everyone on the chat cares. And in fact, one of the comments says, speak or we'll get ya.
No, this is a good illustration right now. At a certain point, like St. Francis had wounds on his body the last 30, 40 years of his life, like open wounds. He was purging energies, and sometimes a master will purge energies for other people, but that's because he's choosing to, she's choosing to. And because you can carry stuff, like it doesn't affect you. Like, if I have a hangnail, that's really annoying, right? You know what I'm saying?
And it's okay to say, I feel really annoyed today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. So he said it. All right.
I'm not feeling annoyed today.
Okay. Well, how are you feeling?
At the moment, I'm feeling really good.
Nice.
Because I love doing your show, and I love the moment of opening. I love the moment, hey, don't go there now, stop it. I love the moment of, yeah, no, please. But that's the Christie and Tobias show. We can do that somewhere else. But the moment of spontaneous allowing is beautiful. It's like Keith Richards says, if I can just get my ass on stage and hit the first chord, I'm good, you know? If you can let the energy start moving, then you're feeling in the moment of just what's happening. So what came in to talk about, I'm feeling good today. I've had tons of energy today.
Yeah.
A few days ago, I had very low energy, like I was kind of empty. And in my video that goes along with tonight's show, Trusting Your Triggers, I filmed that actually in that empty state of energy. Because as an illustration, not that I planned this, it's just what happens, and that's what I feel like doing. And that the cycling is okay of our energies. But I wanted to reiterate what we talked about in the first segment. So we have this deep thing about I'd rather kind of fritter my time. See, once you become present and aware, that's why Eckhart had an awakening and why he's making a big impart, Eckhart Tolle. Because he actually, from other lifetimes, is my opinion, he had that build-up and it sort of broke through in one night for him. And he dropped into being in his presence. In the momentary presence, in the I am that I am.
Yeah.
And once you have that, everything else pales in comparison. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing that needs to be done. You are abiding in yourself and enjoying yourself. God self-enjoys. God self-enjoys. God enjoys herself. The self is the most delicious thing there is what some of the yogis say. The self, what they're talking about is the God self, our souls. It is the most enjoyable, the Amrita, the taste, the heavenly senses of taste, sound, sight, smell, touch, are so much more refined even than the physical ones. The physical ones are a copy of the heavenly senses. So yogis during their Kundalini awakening, and if you're interested in the details on this, Swami Muktananda, his book, Play of Consciousness. Now, don't get involved with the crazy organization. That's just my opinion. But, you know, the organization-itis sets in everywhere, even with the best teachers and best intentions, you know. But he describes in detail there his own personal awakening and these amazing energies flowing through him. Now, you have to usually sit or get quiet or get connected somehow, not run from yourself, whether it's in the truth movement or alternative spirituality or whatever. Are you dipping your bucket in your own well? Are you dipping your bucket in your own well so you can drink your own well water and get well?
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, it's really no different than TMZ or a programmed person that watches 6 hours of TV every night and works a job. It's really no different. If we're just in our minds, get out of your minds, Because the mind really is the hall of mirrors. And so dropping down, even in this moment right now, so I'm making fun of trying to encourage us, the real enjoyment, the real bliss, the real orgasm, the real pleasure principle. I remind myself, sitting in the car, driving, doing whatever I'm doing, take full divine breath, and notice your own inner energy. Be with yourself. And then all these things out here become enjoyable. But this constant addiction of thinking, addiction of doing, is the stoppage. It's when you stop that the peace breaks through, that the activity... See, it's not all peaceful meditation and it'll end up looking and sounding like Eckhart Tolle. You're not going to. Okay? He has to do that because that's all we can accept as spiritual teachers at this moment. But a real spirit, more broader definitions of spiritual teachers is going to be like play dates for Metallica and at the same time be as present as Eckhart Tolle, And that's the new model. So on our way there, what's really to do is us simply to be with ourselves and clean up our house. That's the only job we have. Me, myself, and Irene. Me, and myself. The God part in me. Trusting that which triggers you, that which irritates you, that which triggers you during the day is showing you where you are not wholly healed, integrated, peaceful, connected, in communion with the source. So those are the places that after a while become interesting. Like I'm interested every day. Why does that bother me? I can't control joy. I'm not in charge of Bentley. I'm not in charge of the universe, And that whole controlling thing. For me, for example, you're asking how I'm doing. So I go between low energy and buzzing. Today I was buzzing with a volcano of wonderful energy. And I noticed that as well. I'm noticing, can I hold that without forcing it, but I'm not going to allow myself to yak it away. Or just notice. I have no rules about it, except I like feeling good. That's not even a rule. I like there's certain feelings I'm interested in, certain states of energy, you could say. And those tend to be when I'm full up with some kind of cosmic soul energy, godness. That makes me just feel really good. And it tends to open up my senses and my awarenesses. I can read things and understand things and protect things and be inspired and so forth. That feels good to me. So that's what I'm interested in. And
I'm sorry I asked. Jeez. Man. Fine, how are you?
Fine, how are you? Just fine. I'm doing fine.
And how's the weather?
How are the kids?
What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
No, I hear where you're coming from. I'm just being silly.
Oh, thank you for your heart. I acknowledge the heart. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we love you, we miss you, and we care how you're doing, so.
We care about each other.
Yes.
We care about each other. So we do want to ask, how you doing? How are you? And that's a beautiful space. And then hold space without trying to fix. How are you? Hold space then the way God holds space, or the way the universe, the matrix space holds space for suns, for stars. Just hold space for it.
Yeah. That's important, because I know sometimes people, if you tell them how you really feel sometimes, they're like, oh, no, you can't feel that way, or you shouldn't feel that way. And it's like, dude, then don't ask, okay? Sometimes the answer might be positive and bubbly and vibrant, like you said, and sometimes the answer might be, well, I'm feeling kind of drained, and, things are a little tough right now. But yeah, so that's a good point, Tobias. Hold space and actually listen to where they're coming from, and, wait for the answer rather than move on to the weather and the children.
I remember sitting with a friend out in the desert here in southern Arizona, and when I was going through one of my first phases of allowing for different states. See, we have this manic thing that it should be new and improved and happy, shiny. It's sort of like watching Katie Couric or Kathy Lee Gifford or something. It's like it'll just give you a headache after a while, right? It's like, that is not real. It's that positivity. You got to be on drugs. That is just not real, right? And I'm naming names again. See, I know it's totally incorrect, but it's just good examples because people can relate to it.
Yeah.
And God bless them. I like both of those women, too. They've got sweet, direct, honest, sincere hearts, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Or the road to, I shouldn't say that, the road to horrible wake-up calls, is paved with good intentions. But I remember sitting out in the desert with my friend, who's fairly, he's a teacher himself sees into the other worlds, and he's the real deal. He's one of my teachers, too. I remember sitting there one evening as the sun is setting, and we have a little fire out in the desert, and I actually was I told him, I really like death. I like hanging out with the angel of death. It's very peaceful. And I was embodying that energy at the moment. See, a child does not resist states of energy.
Yeah.
Animals don't resist certain states of energy. They'll tell you if they're physically hurting, but they don't judge their current state of energy. Therefore, they do not suffer the way we suffer. It's just pure sort of Zen-like experience for animals. Some of them develop tendencies from living with humans too much. And so I was just learning to feel states purely as they are, and I was feeling that emptiness, quiet, sun is setting. Can you imagine a desert sunset, completely quiet, kind of getting cold? It's very quiet. And I was feeling that emptiness, and I saw the fear in his eyes, because our programming is so deep that that's something to be scared of. We're supposed to be scared of death or quiet or cessation. It's very, very peaceful. And so trusting, because your soul is larger than your ego, okay? Our souls, our fundamental beingness is more fundamental than our current tendencies, samskaras, programs.
Yeah. Definitely, Tobias. Very well said, but it is that time again. We will be back after this short break, everyone. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars of SoulCounseling.com here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Oh, my God. Having too much fun here, and I love you guys in the chat room. You are cracking me up. And, oh, my God, Tobias and Adam, our producer, just had a wonderful idea that, wow, we should record everything going on during the breaks and then have, like, an end-of-the-year show with all that funny material we miss on the air. But
It's definitely not ready for prime time. Let's just say that.
Probably not. Yeah, they've been patient enough with us already. Can you believe they let us do this? It's been like 3.5 years now.
I know.
They haven't pulled the plug yet. So, yeah, we're not going to push it.
No, we're not. Just to give you a little hint, folks, it involved white and black cops and cavity searches and multiple vaginas and such like that. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. All right, back to the serious subject now.
Yeah, that's next show. Okay, yeah, so back to that serious subject, trusting your triggers.
Well, that's kind of like this. Well, it kind of goes together.
We would probably trigger some people if we, and you know what, maybe we should.
It would be fun.
Let's get back to those cavity searches.
I saw a picture yesterday of some poor guy at some airport, and oh my God, I can't believe it. That the TSA, Transportation Security Administration, they're searching some guy. He's standing there with his pants down, and the TSA guy with the blue gloves is kneeling in front of him, and it's
oh my God.
I'm like, how do we get this far that we're allowing this humiliation to go on? It's really kind of scary,
Yeah.
And I don't. Maybe it was in a private back room, but either way, if it's out in the front of everybody or in the private, and he's standing there, the guy's like going through his underwear. I'm like, wow, unbelievable.
Wow.
But unless, and those are the symptoms of our abdication of our own power.
Yeah.
If we simply are angry at the powers that be, and, let's say the Transportation Security Administration, how can they possibly do this? This is insane, right? If we just do the anger stuff, then I have to say Alex Jones, pioneer good stuff, but when he was on Piers Morgan recently, this is strictly my opinion, he kind of made himself, it wasn't the best performance. It just didn't look real good. People can too easily dismiss what he's saying because he comes off as too bombastic, look it up, too strong, too kind of blowhardy, Dwight Yoakam did that.
Unstable.
Yeah. And that doesn't help the thing because then the programmed people of the world can just dismiss and throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. And so, my opinion, I understand. I mean, the stuff I talk about, I understand it's very, very far out. But what we're talking about tonight, so if we heal ourselves, our souls, our own energies, in other words, the imprinting from other lifetimes, from being hurt as a little child, the childhood traumas of being scared. Right now we have a little puppy. We have Miley and Bentley, and one of the puppies stayed with us. And she's, 10 weeks old now. And she's just entering the phase. Up until now, she's been completely fearless. She trusts the whole world. Nothing scares her. But there's a phase after that total puppydom where loud noises, where certain movements or big things can start. Now she's starting to have some fear in her nervous system. And I'm aware of, like today we pulled in the garbage can, and it makes a loud racket noise, on the asphalt. She got really scared by that, so I want to take the time to bring her over and go, come here, Gabby. Now just look at the garbage can. Daddy's here with you. It's nothing to be afraid of, right? And so there's imprinting. Now if the dog gets imprinted, like Bentley's scared of doors. I don't know why. Maybe the family he lived with when they were going through the divorce, there was a lot of door slamming, and maybe his tail got caught in the door. He does have a knot in his tail, right?
Yeah.
So that becomes an imprint trauma. Well, that's what's happened to us humans as well.
Yes.
Our subconscious is full of these imprinted past life tendencies, samskaras they're called in the yogic tradition. Sins is a pretty harsh, heavy word that Jesus uses, or I don't know if he used it, but people certainly do in Christianity. And so these imprintings, you cannot be free until these imprintings are healed. Like Miley, that other dog, the female that we adopted, she cowers and blinks her eyes, and you can tell she must have been hit, right?
Yeah.
You have to heal that imprinting by, you need to go back in and actually transmute, reformat. It's like reformatting a disk. You need to reformat that energy. And that energy is in our subconscious imprinting. It's like post-traumatic stress disorder from people that have been in battle is an obvious imprint. They can't relax. They're always on hyper alert, right? And that is carried over from lifetimes. There's a gentleman that attended a Course of Awakening recently who definitely had some other lifetime post-traumatic stress disorder stuff. He didn't have it in this lifetime, but it carries over. So these things need to be healed in us, meaning you need to go into the energy and rearrange it, transmute it, alchemize it, heal it. That's the real healing. Just knowing it is just surface knowledge. It's the difference between my pond, my little backyard looks beautiful and tranquil, but there happens to be grenades and sunken cars and rusted old crap and old paint cans in the pond, right? Yeah. That's a pretty toxic pond. In order, before you can let your kids go swimming, your innocent thoughts, your innocent self, your innocent heart, in that pond, you need to drain the pond and clean it up.
Definitely.
So we need to drain our own pond, clean up our... Otherwise, we keep acting it out on each other. That's basically all that's going on. The only way we can be set against each other, divided and conquered, evil Osama. Come on. I mean, it's so stupid. Osama bin Laden was on the CIA payroll for years. Ever since the Afghan wars in the 80s, he was the CIA payroll. And then it's so that we can, boogeyman, go get him. It's ridiculous, right? The whole thing is a sham. But we can only fall for it if we have our own boogeymen inside us. We have our own unhealed trauma stuff in us. You cannot fool Jesus. You cannot fool a Yogananda, St. Francis. You can't get them to believe. You can't program them. You're only programmable. You're only controllable. You're only foolable. The who? Get on my knees and pray that we don't get fooled again. Well, we're getting fooled again, folks. Every generation is getting fooled again. So the real healing of the planet is one by one, we heal ourselves. And this is not a bunch of suffering work. No, it's wonderful. When I have faced fears and cleaned out energies and so forth, my sex life all of a sudden went warp speed. You like sex? Well, I recommend you heal some childhood trauma, some past life regressions, some soul retrieval, so you can actually go, wow, I never knew it could be like that.
Definitely.
So this is not about suffering, and I have to suffer with my horsehair shirt and beat myself and become some monk. It's quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. No, don't go there.
I'm trying not to. I mean, first the draining your whatever. And okay, I'm not going there.
Because if we don't heal it, recently somebody posted on Course of Awakening on Facebook, Darius, I think, on a priest in Connecticut. He's a priest at the Catholic Church. He runs the archdiocese, or that church, that diocese. And he's literally, he's on TV, speaking about they helped some firemen. Look it up. This YouTube priest meth and sex shop, okay? Now he's caught red-handed importing meth from California, selling it to people, and laundering the money through his sex shop. The priest...
That sounds about right on par.
But because he's not dealing with that openly, in a healthy way, in an open way, that those impulses of wanting to connect on a deep level, which sexuality is, he comes out in denial. And when it happens in denial, it happens in a very shameful, controlled, the dark energy way. It's unhealthy. There is unhealthy, dark, denial, sexuality and consciousness. And when it is relegated to the dungeons in our subconscious, it acts out in unhealthy ways. Having your priest, it's obviously not healthy. Selling meth to people, and he was caught red-handed. I mean, this is a literal joke line, I know. Dressing up as women. And by the way, all that stuff is fine, acting it out in a conscious level.
Yeah. Definitely. Good example there, Tobias, but it is that time, so we have to take a short break. In the meantime, check out Course of Awakening. Actually, go to courseofawakeningseminars.com or courseofawakening.com, but we'll be back after these few short minutes with Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also, check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules, no rules, no taboo topics, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio, American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight, Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you have any questions or comments for our special guest tonight, St. Toby One Kenobi, feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And if you'd like to join us for the chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. And I think I just triggered Tobias. He loves it when I call him St. Toby One Kenobi.
Great. What am I going to call? What are we going to? We got to come up with something for you. I'll think about something.
Bitch. Or I've heard them all already. So.
Yeah.
If you can come up with something original, please.
You can handle those easily. We're going to find something hard for you.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit tonight. I know we have a lot of fun and play, and part of me is going, it'll get dismissed because we're being playful and a bit flippant with this stuff. But there's a lot of truth in here if people are listening still.
Yeah.
About if we heal ourselves, and it does become more fun. Life becomes more energetic. And this is why masters, by the way, real masters, Jesus, Babaji, Sai Baba, who I know is controversial, I understand that, El Morya, Kutumi, various ascended beings who have nameless. They don't care about names. In that place, there's no names. It's just cats. Cats don't name each other. They just know each other's energy prints, But they're a riot. And this used to really shock me when it first started happening, but they are completely ridiculously funny and tease each other and sacrilegious in the sense of there's nothing profane, everything is sacred. They will, when it's all done in good spirit, God's spirit, good heart, the masters are incredibly irreverent, the Holy Church of reverent irreverence. Absolutely, they're having fun. So we're playing with that. I wanted to say, so again, I'm reiterating, all the knowledge, all the knowing, David Icke, God bless him. I love David Icke. I resonate with him. I know some people don't, but and he's doing exactly what he needs to do. But we need to remember the next evolutionary step is going to be into actually transforming our own energetic fields, our own torus fields, our own bodies, our own minds, our own hearts, our own souls. And the upgrade, that's what makes life fun. Those guys have a riot. When I saw Jesus and Babaji playing together, literally teaching me and my friend about stuff, and people are going to think I'm crazy. I understand that. I'm not. I grew up in Sweden, total atheistic country till I was 13, moved to Connecticut, prep schools in Connecticut. Are you kidding me? And I even went to prep school in England. I went to public schools. That's the private school in England when I was 4 and 5 years old. I was in schooling my whole damn life, okay? Graduate school, the whole thing. I think I went to school like 20-some years. It was ridiculous, right?
You need schooling. Maybe I'm not fooling. Okay, sorry, too much fun.
No, Led Zeppelin, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, see, exactly. So then we have to unschool ourselves back to innocence. Ian Anderson, the second break on your show that plays that song by, yes, I think it is, Ian Anderson, the singer, who also was in Tangerine Dream, or that was his project. He speaks there in that song of innocence, you know, during the second break, of I get cynical. They teach me to be calculating and cynical. No, you got to go back to innocence, you know. Innocence is the real fun. And what I'm talking about there, Jesus is innocent, but you can't fool him. There ain't no fooling, because he doesn't need no schooling, right? You can't fool him. You can't fool masters, because they are wise as serpents and yet innocent, gentle as doves. And so that's the real fun. All the knowing is the booby prize. All the intricate knowing about Saturn and the moon matrix and the history of Earth and all the details of the beings that came down, Anunnaki stories, decoding all the Egyptian mysteries. You know, those were tools. All of Egypt, the highest glory really on the planet, well, Atlantis was, but the highest remembered are still sitting there in stone, so we can't completely deny it, you know. Do you know that the Great Pyramid of Giza was made overnight? It was made overnight. It was there in the morning. I know that's far out for people. It was made by this collective consciousness that is an ascended collective consciousness, Ra, from Venus. I know this is far out, but we're doing some spiritual TMZ gossip here because that's what people like. They made that overnight. They literally remelted those rocks. They're just molecules. They're just molecules. We've learned to take 6 pounds of plutonium and vaporize it into pure energy. It's known as an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
You can take pure energy and recoalesce it into material things. Now, we haven't quite learned that yet because we're into blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
But you can alchemy works both ways. Alchemy goes both ways. God goes both ways. Right?
You're throwing me too many softballs, but then if I, keep hitting every one of them, we're never going to get anything done here.
We're just allowing...
God goes both ways.
Just allowing the pregnant pause for people's minds to enjoy them. God goes both ways. Alchemy process, the alchemyenergyprocess.com. It's a simple process. It's just reminded, the ultimate alchemist is us. Merlin the magician, also known as Joseph of Arimathea, same being, and in the power of the god Pan, is not the only alchemist, the Prague school of alchemy. No. Yes, that's true, but we are the alchemists. We can coalesce energies. This is why a master can simply hold out his hand and something appears in his hand, because the ethers are full of 0-point energy. Now, we're evolving back to that. We can't quite handle it yet, so what we're learning now is the law of intention, the idea of attracting things to us, meaning I want this, and wow, there it is. But, it's too much for us to allow it to just simply coalesce in front of us. But that's how the angels do it. They simply hold the idea in their consciousness, and the lifetrons, the quanta of photonic energy, simply coalesce. That's all atoms are anyway. Atoms are 99.99% nothing. They're just vibrating, fluxing energies, But Tesla comes a little bit early and tries to share that with us, and we freak out. We're not ready.
Yeah.
Some of us are more and more ready. So God is infinitely patient. It's up to us when we want free energy, but we can't have free energy until we're going to be safe with it. If you make free energy right now, people are just going to cut down the forest or just, I don't know, run their boat around the lake all day long because they won't run out of gas. You know? See what I'm saying? We'll just feed our addictions. It's sort of like, let a heroin addict or a meth addict win the lottery. What are they going to do with it? Right? Definitely. So right now, if free energy, zero-point energy, came into the hands of the people that run the world and most of the population on the earth, it would be like giving, $100 million to a group of meth addicts. They're probably not going to be using it wisely. They might go to Vegas and gamble it all away in one weekend, literally. Yeah. And so that's the reality of it. We have to become wise enough, healed enough, strong enough, stewards, holders, being able to hold the presence, being able to be present with God's self inside ourselves. And that's the most pleasurable thing in the universe. Having $100 million and having all the hookers and that you could ever imagine in Vegas or whatever women want, all the shoes, more shoes than Imelda Marcos, I don't know what. It's not going to satisfy. I can't get no satisfaction is the age. I can't get no satisfaction is theme of the fallen ego age as channeled through Saint Mick. Right? Yeah. I can't get no satisfaction because until you allow the inside. So now, back to the subject. Trusting the triggers. That your world around you, as you vibrate, so your world is around you, as within, so without. Emerson said it, the transcendentalists in early, in America, what was it, 1880s, the transcendentalists, or was it farther back? I don't remember. Thoreau, Emerson, those guys, and Walden Pond, up there in Boston. Emerson says it clearly, too. It says, unless you have the potential for godhood within yourself, you cannot recognize it outside yourself. It's sort of like taking totally unconscious people out into nature. They can't feel nature. It makes them uncomfortable. Mm. It's too damn quiet, man. Come on, let's go to the bar. Exactly. I remember those days, really. Yeah. What do we do? Boring. There's just a bunch of weeds. Yeah. We're supposed to be doing something. We're just sitting here watching the lake. What are we doing? We got to be doing something. Mm-hmm. That's the monkey mind state. That's the not able to relax state. That's move to Sedona or Hawaii to finally retire and have it all be peaceful. And 2 years later, they have to run back to their drama because they can't handle the quiet. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the quiet starts showing them themselves. And the demons are really inside ourselves. Or the patterns, the subconscious tendencies. Yeah. So we on the spiritual path, in order to let in zero-point energy, in order to bring back heaven on earth, in order to bring back peace, have to become zero-point energy, become heaven inside your kingdom of heaven is within. You have to become peace, power, love, strength. Yeah. And the way to do that is you start being interested in cleaning yourself up. So you do that by trusting your triggers. Now first you're just like trying to get away from everything. All I need is some peace. Give me that 1 week vacation when I go sit on the beach in Hawaii. You can only do it for 2 hours, then you immediately start drinking. Mm-hmm. Go to Hawaii and drink. Yeah. Because you want to sedate yourself. So this is the modern human, even within us, I teached about in the beginning of the first hour, even within the alternative wanting to wake up or truth movement or whatever you want to call it, spiritual community, we're still addicted to give me the latest TNG spirit, truth-telling gossip. What are the 9/11 Commission architects and engineers for truth? What's going on now? What's the deeper deception? Why is Obama really a reptilian? It's like we want to gossip about this crap. Yeah. Instead of healing ourselves. And the thing is, it's not work. It's, do you want to feel good or do you want to be angry at the world? Do you want to feel good or do you want to be right about how screwed up the whole planet is.
Yeah. Good point.
Hey, yes, there's tons of evidence for how screwed up things are. I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. The people that are attracted to the buffets in Vegas, they are not the glory of humanity, let me tell you. These are not glorious specimens of bodies or souls or energies that are showing up at the buffet at the LVH Hotel in Vegas.
Yeah.
Sad. The wait staff was incredible, by the way. I loved the hotel. They must really make good money and attract good people. At least in my reality, the wait people at the buffet. I went to the buffet because I'm trying to experience the whole thing, right? And I had to watch it, because things didn't taste like real food. You know, they were like, "Oh, what is that? What can I actually eat?" And I was trying to be open to everything, you know. And so, in order to really enjoy the real buffet, you know, when you're in love, when you're feeling energized and love, and your own self, your higher self, your soul is on fire inside yourself, that's when the world looks good, tastes good, feels good to you. Well, who's providing the energy for your beautiful experience? Your soul is. It's not an outward experience. It's an inward experience first. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven within. Yeah. If you want to enjoy life, if you want to, you know, survive and get through the day and whatever gets you through the night, I understand. But it's kind of boring to me now. I've done that a bunch of life. I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy my I am selfish, man. I want good. I want to feel God, because God feels so good to me. When we were out at the lake, Joy's birthday a couple of days ago, I'm like, water. I'm like, oh, this is so wonderful. I'm just feeding I'm just being nurtured by the whole environment. You know? And you don't have to go out to nature to do this. You are nature. You are nature. Your divine nature is with you wherever you are on the subway in New York. Your divine nature is with you forever and ever. Amen. So that which triggers you will show you what you need to clean up. If your partner is irritating you, or whatever it is that's triggering you, if you're pissed off at the government, that anger at the stupidity of people, whatever is triggering you, so you can do both. Trust your triggers and trust what attracts. Allow your attractions, trust your triggers.
Yeah.
Embrace what you're attracted to, meaning follow your bliss. And trust your triggers. Up your triggers and follow what attracts you. Oh, it's not all suffering. And life becomes when you enjoy yourselves.
Tobias, you're kind of cutting out here. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Okay, well, that sounded good. Okay, but it was like every other word for a moment.
Maybe I'll move my mic away a little bit. So,
well, now you have to remember everything you said for the last 45 seconds during this short break, and you will repeat it back to us after these few short minutes. Sorry, folks, got to take a break, but stay tuned. We will be right back. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom.
Oh, yes. I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks again for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We are speaking with the amazing and crazy Tobias Lars, the most spiritually incorrect teacher you will ever come across.
I don't know about that.
Counseling. I think so. I don't know. You know what? If you find one even more, let us know. We'll bring them on the show, too. SoulCounseling.com is the website, or CourseOfAwakening.com. And I'm hearing you better now. So, you were left off talking about triggers, trust that which feels good and that which pisses us off.
Allow in. So the healing process is an allowing in of that which feeds you, meaning follow your bliss, be attracted to that which turns you on. Turn your telomeres on and your DNA codes and get your light body fired up, your heart feeling good, what makes you feel good, really good. And at the same time, be willing to clean out that which is still hooking you. You know, the triggers. The triggers will show you where you're still stuck. So therefore, the saying, trust your triggers. You know, so it's both. It's clean up and letting in. Let go, let in. Let go, let in. Let go, let in. And it becomes easier and easier and easier and more enjoyable. So really, again, it's just a small portion realizing, oh, there's a bunch of garbage in the basement. That's very different than actually going down there and hauling it out and cleaning it up and making it a nice playroom or a nice man cave or a TV room or something or a workout room, right? But so we all know we have this garbage in our own basements. We know we've got stuff to clean up. And so I encourage people to do what Jesus said, face the devil, finish the fight. You know, that's the old way of saying it. Feel your stuff. Face it, feel it, free it, and have some fun with it. You know?
There you go.
Face it, feel it, free it, the 4 F's, and then have fun with it. And, because that's what it really, the fallback, the default program, the reset button on human beings is bliss, is enjoyment, is ecstasy, is fun, is orgasm. Why, when we sexually come, we have orgasm, we feel this immense energetic portal opening bliss, into enjoyment, into the mind stops for a millisecond, and we have mindless, in the sense of the mind shuts off, recedes into the background, because that is our very nature. Our nature is that bliss. That is what creates more human beings. So obviously that is the very nature of human beings and other beings. That's why we love puppies and babies and doggies and any baby. Our puppy right now is like one little bundle of cosmic vortexing, spiraling beauty of love, life force. And the life force is that orgasm. And it's a gentle fire, you could call it. It's the same thing as the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit. So trusting our triggers is, what is it that's not good for me? What feels bad? My body can be a physical sensation, can be an emotional trigger, can be a vague feeling of I don't feel peaceful. It can be anything that irritates you. It's that story of the princess and the pea. The old Hans Christian Andersen or the Brothers Grimm, I forget which. I think Hans Christian Andersen's story of the princess and the pea. She sleeps, there's a little pea under her mattress that still bothers her. You know, a little grain, a little small round pebble. And she can't get a night's restful sleep. It's like us. Who do you know that can actually relax?
Yeah.
And so in that relaxation, be still and know that I am God. And that's the only way. So that's what we're talking about here. So if we trust our triggers, it'll show us what to clean up. That reminds me of something. I'm with this partner and they're trapping me into my mommy-daddy relationships. Or you're reminding me. That's why we do repeating patterns. You have repeating patterns in our lives because they are the places that need to be healed up. So learning to be interested in your reaction to what is occurring around you, because as within, so without. In other words, your particular frequencing of soul energies, we are incredibly powerful souls.
Yeah.
Every human being is incredibly powerful. We are literally star systems. We are the power of a sun, each and every soul. Mm-hmm. And so that's a lot of energy, and even if it's through a glass dimly, we've shut down our glory, we've shut down our powers, it is still operating from deep inside there in a dark, occluded, hidden place. And so it will attract these things to you, the people into your life, the circumstances, that word means standing in a circle around you, circumstance, the bubble that you exist in is exactly what your reality within is reflecting and drawing to you. So as you heal yourself within, and that's why Spirit has encouraged me to give people tools to work with. So help people to get consciously in touch with their inner energies, their inner body, the innerbodyawakening.com. And then the alchemy energy process, show people how to actually work with these energies. And then the heartenergy.com, where you actually learn to feel your heart again. You know, instead of going to the grocery store and buying a Hallmark card and spending $3 billion a year on Hallmark cards or something, or cheap Valentine's Day chocolates, how about we learn to actually use our hearts and be real with each other?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Tobias. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we have a caller.
Wow. Cool.
So do you want to continue? Or yeah.
No, I'm good.
Go.
No, that's
okay.
Perfect.
I'm a little bit scared, but I have a feeling he might have something relevant tonight. Welcome our friend Louie B. How you doing tonight, Louie?
Hi, am I on?
No, you're not.
Hey, Louie, you're on.
All right.
What's up?
I'll wait.
No, you're on.
Anyways, I'll listen to Tobias to hear how he answers my question.
All right.
All right.
I'm sweating.
What happened?
What's your
anyways, no. Well, this is about triggers.
Yeah.
My dad always told me to stay away from triggers because they have an unhealthy obsession with fried chicken and watermelon.
Okay.
Oh, Louie, come on. I thought you had a real question.
Nice.
He just say what I thought he said.
Nice. I said nice.
He just said what I thought he said.
You said what we hoped you wouldn't say.
Did Tobias just say, "Are you effing kidding me"?
I did.
Did he just? Did I just hear you say that?
No. You said.
Oh.
No, you know that, Louie.
It's in you. It's in me. We brought this on, didn't we, Toby?
I like.
Well,
Louie's
you
good.
better like me.
You better like me. Exactly.
Shoot.
I forgot the question, but please don't repeat it.
No, well, you know, it's just that I was always taught to stay away from triggers.
No, that's true. At a certain level,
you shouldn't mix with triggers.
No, I hear you. Gun control and all that stuff. No, see that we're not going to go down that. No, it's on one level when we are walking around, like many of us as humans. When we start the awakening process. We shouldn't get triggered. If we trigger, we can flip out, right? People flip out if they get triggered. Am I right? So at that stage,
should I lynch my triggers?
What you should
Louie.
do is starting to learn. No, Louie's bringing up a good point. To not, because some people, if you trigger people, they go overboard, right? We don't want to go overboard. Keep the knives and the guns away because we can trigger each other too much. And when you trigger too much, you literally go into a blackout state of denial where you do stuff you don't remember later. So that your dad has good advice because You need to approach it gently and go, they're learning of, oh, I'm ready to go back in and clean it up. But when you're in an emergency or panic situations, you obviously need to get away from it. Most people are still living in a place of just survival. I got to get sane. I got to get out of this relationship. I got to get away from these people because they're, I'm about to go off. In that case,
triggers make bad girlfriends.
Yeah, especially no, I can't go there. But then as you eventually evolve, which you are, Louis, you learn to realize that, oh, I understand now. I can stay conscious. I'm getting triggered by this thing, but I'm not totally flipping out.
When I drive in the trigger neighborhood, I lock my doors in my car.
Louis, you're so bad. Folks, we take no responsibility for our callers or the views or opinions they may have. I'm
just talking about triggers.
Yeah, I hear you, Louis. Okay, any other questions, Louis?
Should I worry if my girlfriend starts hanging out with triggers?
Okay. No, in your case, that will bring some spice into your life, and I encourage you.
But what if I catch her in bed with a trigger?
Yeah. Well, you better...
Louis, all right. Come on.
Thank you, Louis.
You're welcome.
I sense, and obviously you do too, Tobias, that, I mean, he's asking a serious question, as serious as he is able to ask it.
Well, I got to go. Stay trigger, everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Take care, Louis. Now, we want to tell people Louis has a radio show, or used to. I don't know if he still does. He still? He's
a prankster. He makes the greatest prank calls. And seriously, you need to hear his two latest. That you will just die laughing. I mean, oh my gosh. I'll just tell you about him quickly. One of them, he calls a teacher in Florida and told her the night before the inauguration, thank you for voting for Obama. We have a seat for you. And anyways, it's kind of a long one. And she totally believed it, just one of those educated people talking about how she's so happy he won again. And he just bought her some free birth control pills. And, she's a teacher anyways. So she showed up at the airport, of course, thinking she has this free ticket to the inauguration. And then the other one was like some gangster guy where he starts off, you owe me some money, blah, blah, blah. And it turns into where this guy is he was a gangster and literally rolled on all the people in his organization, like his bosses, his comrades or whatever, and started mentioning names. Did so-and-so put you up to this? And I got to talk to him. And anyway, so it is funny. Tobias. Louis does have definitely an interesting sense of humor. As Casey would say, he's kind of like beer. It takes a few weeks getting used to. You might be a little bitter the first time, but he does have a good heart underneath it all. And I do think he's asking a sincere question in regards to triggers because, it's true what he said. His parents kind of taught him, stay away from this. And so he runs around kind of fearful, and kind of has that tendency to just want to, beat you up right away when somebody triggers him. So he's obviously working on that, as we all are. I appreciate Louis calling and trying to be somewhat serious and even being here and listening and learning. And
he pushing the boundaries there. No worry. And, I like that, but some people might find it too far sometimes. But he has a radio show called Crotch Shot Radio, so that gives you an idea of what the boundaries he's playing with, which I think is great.
There are none. No boundaries.
Right, no boundaries, exactly. Watch out for pranking, gang members. They might come looking for you. But anyway, no, it's a good point because, if we are too much stuff that we've suppressed, then you really don't, you're just trying to survive. What I'm talking to is people that are realizing I need to heal myself, and there are things in me I want to heal. So when they come up for review, when your world around you triggers you, meaning you feel uncomfortable, irritated, upset, angry, whatever, then that's an opportunity to look into it. But obviously people that, O.J. Simpson, you might not want to trigger him. You know what I'm saying here. when it's too close to the surface and too much damage, you need to very gently approach things. You need to only do the next step. You don't need to overload yourself. And that's how God works with us. Source and Spirit works with us. So here's your next thing for you to look at, and it still feels overwhelming to us sometimes. It's like, oh, my God, I can't handle this. And therefore the saying, God never gives you more than you can handle, but we certainly feel like it, right?
Yeah.
We feel like we can't handle all that. So, no, that's a good point. Some people need to be, but trust the triggers. In other words, everyone is needing involvement, and the universe will bring them their next lesson. And that's what I'm talking about here. And the stance changes from, resisting all the time your own wake-up calls, your own wake-up lessons, into going, interesting. That's interesting. That's triggering me. That's getting me. That's hooking my attention. I'm judging. Look at yourself and trust that process, because the freedom that will bring you is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, Tobias. But it is that time. We have to take another break. So hang on, everyone. We will be right back after these few short minutes. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotic.
freedom.
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio.
They're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Last segment here tonight with Tobias Lars here on Soul Journeys Radio. And we're talking about triggers. And good thing no one was triggered with that call, that last segment. But, speaking of triggers, Tobias, I mean, sometimes, we get so shut down by it. Either, something triggers us and makes us angry, or, something goes against our belief systems. For example, here's one that triggered me a few years ago. The first time I heard the idea that Jesus had sex. Yeah. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I didn't get angry, but at first I was like, come on, this is crazy. This is just not what I was taught. And so, there was a lot of, of course I felt it and it felt right. It made sense to me. But in the meantime, I was literally in tears, crying and apologizing to this fake figure for, even considering the fact that he might not be the virgin, right? So yeah, that was one of my triggers. It was definitely, but it's a belief.
That's very sweet of you to share and to remember that about ourselves.
Yeah.
That we come into a very programmed world. And with that sleepwalking, that those things, that's a pretty shocking one. It's really quite amazing. Once you wake up from it, you go, oh my God, I can't believe I was that naive or that asleep,
Yes.
But when someone, and I've done it, I know a couple of times, I said, well, did Jesus have a penis? Yeah. And even saying that's shocking to us. That's crazy, because that's how we've divorced godliness from humanityness. Our basic humanness is obviously sexuality is a part of it. And so we've divorced godliness from sex, and that is one of the root problems. But to remember, God has to gently, it, reveal the true nature to us, because we come into a world that is so programmed into some strange, cultish thing about religion and God and sex and love and money and everything. Like on the back of my book, it says, what if almost everything you've ever been told is wrong?
Yeah.
And it's kind of true, we everything almost. The love is real, but the programming is not. So the idea that now I'm really quite enheartened and pleasantly supported and surprised from 30 years of feeling so on the outside of things, but that people are talking about Jesus and Mary Magdalene having kids, and him obviously must have had sex with her. And that's a huge leap away from this fairy tale story.
Yes.
The big man, the man in the sky, and I have no penis. I'm like Ken and Barbie. We're just plastic, and it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it does trigger us. So these triggers are, unfortunately, because of the level of deep programming that all of the collective humanity is still controlled by, that triggers will necessarily be, at times, shocking wake-up calls. For example, imagine right now, how would the American population handle a disclosure of extraterrestrials? There's 57 races, or more than that, visiting the Earth, the little gray ones, tall whites, reptilians, Pleiadians, verdants, whatever, the praying mantis types, all this stuff, lion, birdmen, dolphin men from Sirius, the cetaceans, all that stuff. What if that was revealed? I recently saw that would be very shocking. That would trigger a lot of people.
Yeah.
That would be a huge trigger. But it can't be bypassed. It can't be helped. It's sort of like you've been lied to about Santa Claus, and then when you're 8 one day you realize, or 6 or 4 or 7 or 12, I don't know what, there ain't no Santa Claus. There is, but not the way you've been told, right? That's shocking. Or how about this one? Imagine this disclosure. In 9/11. Now there's 1,500 architects and engineers that have finally said, look, it's impossible for the towers to have fallen like they did. These must have been some kind of controlled demolition. Architects and engineers, there's 2,000 of them now. Architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. But we can't handle the truth, like Jack Nicholson says in that movie, because it's too shocking.
People freak out,
It triggers us too much. But the choice is, you are programmed cattle, or you have to wake up to what really is. And the fact is, the truth is very, very beautiful. It's just shocking when you're told that Rock Hudson is the ultimate male figure and he's gay. It's shocking when the little girl that does the ivory soap, 99 and 44, 100% pure, turns out to be a porn star later in life. It's shocking to see what really goes on behind the scenes. But it's not shocking if you're given a realistic picture and told the truth more and more from the beginning. And I hope and see that for our children's and our children and our children's children, that we start having children understand if they see mom and dad fighting, even if they saw mom and dad having sex, big deal. That's what adults do. It might be scary to you. Kids understand. Now, I know I pushed a boundary big time on that one, okay? But it's been done in Aboriginal and tribal communities. How do you think they made love in the teepees? You think they went outside in the winter and they put the kids outside? No, they had sex right there. Kids are right there.
Yeah.
They might not do it. They might be covered with blankets or something, but you know what I'm saying? And so there's a whole level of this lying and it's the lying that's shocking. The truth is not shocking to kids. The truth is not shocking to us because the truth is beautiful. The truth of this universe is absolutely beautiful, and the truth will set us free. It's only shocking when we have been told a lie. It's only shocking when we've been programmed by lies like the E.T. thing, the 9/11 truth thing, the truth behind certain beings who are on this planet that, are from other dimensions and are using feeding off of humanity. Yes, it's shocking. The archons, the truth of that, for example. The truth of what sexuality does. That sex actually is one of the most spiritual things. That is the energy source of awakening the root chakra of your kundalini that then travels up your spinal column and fills your whole body with light. That sex is actually probably is the most spiritual activating thing available. And
that's another statement that'll trigger a bunch of people too. So, Tobias, we have like less than 3 minutes left. So, can you share with us what can we do when we feel ourselves triggered? And somebody brought up an example in the text chat, like, what if we have, a hard time releasing real trivial things like, people parking next to us, boxing us in, and think we drive like a helicopter?
Right, road rage. Your mate smacks her food a certain way, and you want to reach over and strangle her. Obviously, it's not about that, right? But what the first step is you need to learn to feel. Drop into your heart and your solar plexus, your feeling body. Keep your breathing open while it's happening, and notice. Be aware of, I am triggered. I am pissed. I am irritated. Notice that. Take a full divine breath. Notice it. Just be with it. Allow it. So what? I'm triggered. It's just energy. This is just an energy in me. It's just a passing energy. That's a simple way of doing it. Eckhart Tolle just says be present with it. People don't really get that. The alchemyenergyprocess.com steps it out into 4 steps for people, and I recommend it. I charge some money for it because I got to pay my bills. But I've spent some time being shown this stuff. You don't need to buy anything. You can do it directly with God, but certainly help at certain times is very helpful. Learning to feel your inner body awakening, your inner body energies, learning to alchemize those energies and to start living more and more in your heart. TheHeartEnergy.com, AlchemyEnergyProcess.com, InnerBodyAwakening.com. Those processes will very much help you do this stuff. So keeping your breathing open and noticing, I am aware, I am angry, just notice it. That's interesting. I'm having this stuff. Even if it takes you over and you start screaming at someone, in the midst of that you can go, God, be here with me. Wow, I am really triggered. That's interesting. That's crazy. Notice I'm feeling shameful. I'm feeling bad about it. I'm feeling these things. Noticing is 50% of it. Becoming consciously aware. Notice. Be interested in what's happening inside you. Notice it from inside. Notice it from your soul point of view. Wow, I'm triggered. And keep your breathing open. Don't lock your breath. Keep your breathing moving and get conscious. And watch, I'm getting taken over by it. Now my rage is taking me over. Watch that even. Try not to judge yourself for it. I am simply in a temporary state of being triggered. Because it is this, if it's brought to the light, all things that come to light, when you turn on the light, the cockroaches head for the hills.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Christie.
Aw, thank you, Tobias. I'm so sorry we're out of time, but yeah, you're speaking truth. And maybe just, when you do breathe and ask yourself why you're so triggered, one thing that helped me was, working on, just asking that question, what if everything I know is a lie? So, maybe don't hold so tightly to your beliefs. But, gosh, fantastic show, Tobias. Thank you again. And thank you all for joining us here tonight. Have an amazing weekend. In fact, let's make this the best weekend ever. Abundant blessings and love to you all. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Central here on AmericanFreedomRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.